Every month, millions of people experience the exact same moment. A notification appears. Salary credited. For a few seconds, it feels like progress, a reward, proof that another month of hard work has finally paid off. Then something strange happens. Rent disappears. Loan payments disappear. Insurance, subscriptions, taxes, credit card bills, groceries, a few online purchases you barely remember making. Within days, sometimes hours, the money is gone. And everyone assumes the problem is spending too much. But what if the biggest scam isn't what happens after your salary arrives? What if it's hidden inside the salary itself? Because your paycheck isn't just paying you, it's quietly training you to think in months instead of years. To measure success by raises instead of ownership. To celebrate earning more while becoming dependent on earning forever. That's the part nobody talks about. And once you see it, it's difficult to unsee. The salary system wasn't invented to make people wealthy. It was invented to make work predictable. Go back about 200 years. Before factories, most people didn't receive salaries at all. Farmers grew food, craftsmen sold products, merchants earned profits. Income wasn't perfectly stable, but there was one important difference. The harder or smarter they worked, the more they could potentially earn. Then came the Industrial Revolution. Factories needed something far more valuable than skilled workers. They needed reliable workers. People who showed up every morning at exactly the same time. The solution wasn't just machinery. It was the paycheck. Instead of sharing profits, companies offered certainty. You work 40 hours, you receive a fixed amount. Repeat next month. From the company's perspective, it was brilliant. Labor became predictable. Costs became predictable. Growth became predictable. Employees accepted limited upside in exchange for stable income. That trade still exists today. Except now it's wrapped inside direct deposits, employee benefits, and polished office buildings. Here's where the hidden math begins. Imagine two people. Emma earns $6,000 every month. Alex owns a small software business that also produces around $6,000 monthly. At first glance, they're identical. Same income, same lifestyle, same apartment. But underneath, their financial reality couldn't be more different. If Emma stops working tomorrow, her income immediately becomes zero. If Alex takes a month off, the business might continue producing income. Not forever, but long enough to prove something important. One owns a paycheck, the other owns an asset. This difference sounds small. It's actually enormous. A salary is income that expires. Ownership is income that can survive without constant labor. Yet schools spend years teaching students how to earn salaries. Almost nobody teaches them how to build ownership. That omission is surprisingly expensive. Now let's look at something even stranger. Most people negotiate salaries once a year. Maybe they receive a 3% raise, 5% if they're lucky. Sounds reasonable. Until inflation quietly enters the conversation. Imagine inflation averages 4%. Your salary increases 3%. Congratulations, you technically received a raise. In reality, your purchasing power just fell. You earn more dollars, you buy fewer things. Psychologically, this is fascinating. Humans compare numbers, not purchasing power. Seeing a bigger paycheck feels like progress, even when it isn't. That's one reason inflation is sometimes called the invisible tax. Nobody sends you a bill. Your money simply buys less every year. Then there's the monthly cycle. Notice how salaries arrive almost exactly when bills are due. Mortgage, rent, utilities, insurance, credit cards, streaming services, car payments. The timing isn't an accident. Modern finance has evolved around predictable paychecks. Banks love predictable income because predictable income creates predictable borrowers.
The more stable your salary appears, the easier it becomes to qualify for debt. At first, this sounds like freedom. A bigger mortgage, a nicer car, a premium credit card. But debt changes something subtle. It converts future salaries into today's purchases. You're no longer earning next month's paycheck. Parts of it have already been promised away. Month after month, you're working to honor decisions made months or even years earlier. The paycheck starts arriving already spoken for. That's when many people begin chasing promotions. Not because life became dramatically better, because expenses quietly expanded alongside income. Economists call this lifestyle inflation. Most people simply call it normal. Receive a raise, upgrade the apartment, upgrade the car, upgrade the phone, upgrade the vacation. Soon the higher salary doesn't create more freedom, it creates higher obligations. Ironically, earning twice as much often doesn't feel twice as rich. Sometimes it feels exactly the opposite, because every increase in income is matched by an increase in fixed costs. The paycheck grows, so does the dependency. Companies understand another psychological trick remarkably well. People focus on gross salary. They live on net salary. Imagine accepting a job offering $120,000 annually. It sounds impressive, but taxes reduce it. Retirement contributions reduce it. Health insurance reduces it.
Payroll deductions reduce it. The number that attracted you isn't the number you actually control. This isn't deception. It's simply the way our brains process large numbers. We anchor ourselves to the biggest figure first. Everything afterward feels like details. Businesses use this psychology constantly. Starting at, up to, earn as much as. The largest number always gets the attention. The real number quietly does the work. Now, here's the uncomfortable part. None of this means salaries are bad. In fact, for millions of families, a stable paycheck is one of the greatest financial tools ever created. It reduces uncertainty. It allows planning. It provides health care, retirement benefits, and opportunities that previous generations never had. The problem isn't having a salary. The problem is believing the salary is the destination. Because wealth has never been defined by income alone. If it were, every professional athlete would retire wealthy. Every lottery winner would stay rich. Every executive would become financially independent. Reality tells a different story. Income creates opportunity. Assets create freedom. Those are not the same thing. The wealthiest individuals on earth rarely depend on salaries. Even CEOs with enormous pay packages often receive relatively modest salaries compared to their stock ownership. Why? Because ownership grows. A salary resets every month. Ownership compounds. One is tied to time. The other is tied to value. And value can continue growing while you sleep. Perhaps the biggest irony is this. People spend decades trying to maximize the size of their paycheck. Very few spend equal energy asking what happens if the paycheck disappears. That's the question that separates income from wealth. A salary is incredibly useful. It's often the first building block of financial security. But if it becomes the only building block, the structure remains fragile. Because every month starts from zero again. You trade time, you receive money. The clock resets, the cycle repeats. And maybe that's the hidden scam. Not that salaries exist, not that employers pay people, but that we've quietly accepted the idea that earning money and building wealth are the same thing. They're not. One keeps the lights on. The other changes who controls your future. The next time your salary notification appears on your phone, ask yourself one simple question. Is this payment buying another month of survival? Or is it quietly funding a life where one day, that notification won't matter anymore?